The new special counsel, Jack Smith, is a former acting U.S. attorney who said the investigations would not pause or flag under his watch. We're going to have more on him in just a moment. Let's get right to CNN's senior legal affairs correspondent, Paula Reed. What else, Paula, did Attorney General Merrick Garland say about appointing this special counsel?
Well, John, we knew this was something under consideration within the Justice Department. And during that speech, he pointed to the extraordinary nature of these cases and said in order to protect the independence of the Justice Department, he had to make this move. Now, it was also notable that he said he's not going to be overseeing the day-to-day operations of the special counsel. Now, under the regulations, if there are any charges that the special counsel wants to bring, those are subject to the approval of the Attorney General. But it's interesting, he wants to really establish that this is going to be an independent entity that is going to be operating separate from the Justice Department, except for the particular instances where they may be required to check in with the Attorney General. But it's unclear, John, if this is really going to satisfy critics and anyone who wants to claim that this is partisan. The former president's spokesman has already said today that this is, quote, a political stunt.
Now, it was also important that the Attorney General said he will not oversee the day-to-day work of the special counsel. Under the rules, if the special counsel wants to file any criminal charges, those charges still need approval from the Attorney General. But it's clear he wants to show that this investigation will be independent, separate from the Justice Department, except in rare situations where they must report back. Still, critics are not convinced. Some people are already calling it political. In fact, the former president's spokesperson said this is just a political stunt. Now let's talk about what might be one of the most embarrassing moments of Trump's presidency. On February 5, 2026, Trump spoke at Conservative Political Action Conference, CPAC, one of the biggest conservative political events in America. This is usually his territory. At CPAC, Trump normally gets huge applause. In fact, the former president's spokesperson said this is just a political stunt. Now let's talk about what might be one of the most embarrassing moments of Trump's presidency. On February 5, 2026, Trump spoke at Conservative Political Action Conference, CPAC, one of the biggest conservative political events in America. This is usually his territory. At CPAC, Trump normally gets huge applause, standing ovations, and loud cheers. It's where his strongest supporters gather, but this time was different. Trump focused his speech on defending his 20% universal tariffs. He claimed these tariffs would help the economy, protect American workers, and bring back manufacturing jobs. The crowd did not agree. Instead of applause, there were groans. People booed. Some even started chanting, "No more taxes." Then something shocking happened. About 2,000 people stood up and walked out in the middle of his speech. 2,000 supporters, at his own event, just left. That sends a powerful message, and it gets worse. Attendance at CPAC was already down 35% compared to last year. That means thousands fewer supporters even showed up in the first place. Trump's influence doesn't seem as strong as it used to be. Snap polling after the speech showed 62% of attendees disapproved of what he said. That means nearly 2 out of every 3 people in the room didn't like his message. Even Laura Loomer, a well-known MAGA supporter who usually defends Trump strongly, tweeted that he had lost the room. When someone like her says that, it means something serious is happening. There was also an awkward moment. Microphones picked up Trump muttering about disloyalty as people walked out. Reporters heard him complaining that his own supporters were betraying him. That shows he knew exactly what was happening, and he was upset. And this wasn't just one bad event. At a rally in Fort Worth, only about 1,000 people showed up in a venue that could hold thousands more. In Rocky Mount, attendance dropped from 6,000 in 2024 to just 1,000 in 2026. Now at CPAC, 2,000 people walked out mid-speech. That's a pattern. A big reason for the anger? Broken promises. Trump promised $2,000 checks as part of an economic plan. They never came. He promised tariffs would bring back jobs. Instead, manufacturing jobs declined. Inflation stayed high. Costs stayed high. Many supporters feel betrayed. His approval among strong supporters has reportedly dropped from 78% to 70%. That's still high, but the decline is noticeable, especially when combined with public events like this walkout. This raises serious questions about the 2026 midterms. Voter turnout is everything in midterm elections. If Trump's base feels angry and demoralized, they may simply stay home. And when supporters don't vote, parties lose. The CPAC walkout also shows division inside the Republican Party. When conservative activists and influencers start publicly criticizing Trump, it weakens party unity. Republicans may now worry that being too closely connected to Trump could hurt them in elections. Trump also faces other major problems: low approval ratings, legal investigations, reports of government shutdown threats, lawyers leaving his legal team, cabinet members reportedly considering resignation. All of this creates the image of a presidency in trouble. Trump once built his brand around winning, strength, and success. Now the headlines are about declining crowds, legal issues, and supporters walking out. That's a big shift. If this trend continues, we may see smaller rally crowds, more boos and early exits, more Republicans distancing themselves from him, further drops in approval ratings, and Trump's reaction may make it worse. He often responds to criticism by attacking critics. If he calls his own supporters disloyal, that could push them away even more. With midterms only months away, Trump appears to be entering a very difficult political period. The CPAC walkout. 2,000 people leaving during his speech is not just a small incident. It symbolizes a deeper issue, a growing disconnect between Trump and parts of his base. Whether this becomes a turning point or just a temporary setback remains to be seen. But one thing is clear: something has changed, and the political consequences could be significant.